Welcome back, traders, to the weekly Forex forecast. All right, so I'm going to be covering some potential setups for the week. All right, continuing from what I was viewing last week and some additional pairs, starting with the dollar index. All right, if you've been following, I've been bullish on the dollar index. All right, I've been bullish on this correction all the way really from once we broke here. I was expecting price to just correct and continue, and that's what we got overall. Looking how price ended last week. We see here I'm on the daily chart. Price printed this evening star reversal right here on the daily. So it looks like price could be setting up for some type of correction to start this week. All right. We could see a bearish correction on the dollar. Overall, I'm still bullish, but looking at this on the daily, it started slowing up. If we go down to the 4 hour, we got a breakdown, a correction, and another breakdown. All right. Impulse correction, impulse. So judging by this, it looks like we're going to get a bearish correction. Our price could pull up some, but overall, I like for it to stay. If we stay below the lower high or below the high, we could below that even star on the daily, we could see price correct down to around 92.5. All right. Now around that level, I will be watching to see how price react, but this will be a nice retest of previous structure high. So if we see that, we can see dollar pairs, the majors pretty much move along with it. All right. All right. So just going down the list, if we look at Euro JPY, all right, this is a new month. We are now in April. So I like to look to see how monthly candles closed. Overall, we can see Euro JPY has been in this uptrend. All right. We have been in this uptrend. So this is a level that I'm looking for you to break or bounce. Right now, I don't think there's really a reason to look for sales just yet, because look at this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 months are really just straight uptrend. All right. This whole move here. So we could get a correction, but right now we want to trade with the trend until we see a reason to really look for sales. So if we go down to the weekly, all right, price pulled up, pulled back, created like a pin bar and rejected. Now that weekly candle is looking like it's setting up for a bullish engulfing. It's going to close bullish engulfing. So I will be careful here looking for sales on Euro JPY. All right. Now, this is a level of supply. So we could get a sell-off, but we just have to see price action because price did reject here initially, and now we're back at this level. So this could either be a double top forming, all right, or if the price for buys, price will really need to break above this structure level for me and then pull back for my buy opportunities. All right, for me to look for buys there. Okay, so if I come down to like the 4 hour and I see how price is developing here. All right. Looking at this could just be a retest of this high. All right. This could be just a big bearish flag setting up. So for me to look for sales here on Euro JPY, me personally, I would like to see an impulse. Now, if I get an impulse break of this of this trend line, forming a nice bearish impulse of rejection, similar to over here, then on a correction, I will look for potential sales. So if I don't get no impulsive break, I won't even be thinking about sales. Now, if we get an impulsive break, we get a correction, and we could possibly get that corrective wave for a continued bearish wave down. All right. But if price continues to break up, then I would say look for pullbacks for a continuation up. All right. That's Euro JPY. Looking at GBP JPY. So similar, GBP JPY is just so bullish. It's real bullish right now. All right. Again, there's no reason to really look for sales here just yet. Because if we look here, started the monthly since it's a new month, price has just been trending up. All right. Straight bulls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Similar to EJ, 5 months of straight bullish uptrend. Another big part of that is because JPY has been weak across the board for the most part. So GJ is still trending up. So if we go down to the weekly, look at how this weekly candle is about to form. At the making of this video, the market hasn't opened yet for the Sunday open. But looking at this with the weekly closing like this, that's showing me signs still of strong bullish pressure. All right, so we could see price continue up. All right, continue to the upside. Now, if we go down to the daily, price already broke above this high, right? You see a nice close above that high. So it can either continue, all right, maybe pull back and then go, or we could see like some type of deeper correction before continuing. But right now, I really see no reason. At this level, I was looking for potential continuation sales, but at the price had a strong rejection from that level, after it had this strong breakdown here, price just had a big move. After this big impulsive drop, that move to the upside was just very impulsive. All right. So by me seeing that, I'm seeing that it's evident that we're still in this downtrend. All right. I'm sorry, we're still in the uptrend. So I want to see how this level react. Because right now, if I go down to the 1 hour, price is still clearly making higher highs and higher lows, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high here, higher low on the retest, higher high. So let's see how this play out. I think we have better setups on play, but overall, this is still in the uptrend. So I really wouldn't look for sales. The only way I would look for sales in this, if this just happened to give us a sharp impulsive drop back below, 152.5 or strong breaking structure levels, then I would look for pullback opportunities. But other than that, I still think buys are in control. Euro USD. All right, so looking at Euro USD, if you've been following, been calling sales on this for the last few weeks, just straight sales, really all the way since up here. Been anticipating continued selling pressure. All right, and we got that. If we look at the monthly is still strong bearish, right? We got strong bearish pressure on the monthly. Now, we could be due for some type of pullback, but I'm still anticipating price to come back down to this level of demand right here. So it's interesting to see how this week is going to open up. Now, if we get a correction in the dollar, EU is going to correct with it. But if we see overall, EU has just been respecting structure. Breakdown, retest, lower low. We had a breakdown, a retest of structure, lower low, another pullback. All right, so this could be a pullback just to continue. Like we could see, this could very much just continue to just sell off. All right, because that's the price action overall that is showing. And if we look at the daily, it actually forms somewhat of a morning star. So we can either see price pull back and hold and then just continue up for a deeper correction. All right, that's a possibility. But overall, my bias is still to the downside to these levels of support. All right, it's just a matter of if price want to continue from there or if we want to get a deeper pullback. All right, but overall, I would say the long-term bias or the continuation bias, I would say, is still to the downside. All right, I would just watch this level to see if price want to pull back deeper. Now, if price takes this, right? Let's say price takes this and just forms a lower low. Let's say to start the week, we see price continue to drop, breaking down, right? Price forms this lower low, then I would say continue to trade in line with structure. Right? On a break of that, you could expect price to continue to trade in line with structure. GBP USD. So looking at GU, all right, we was able to catch this in the private Discord. We were able to catch about 83 pips on this. So if we look at GU is interesting. Price did wick into the supply level and started selling off. All right, monthly close bearish. If we look at the weekly, it's at an interesting level. We're starting to show some signs of price exhaustion a bit. But price is still at this interesting level. All right. Right. It broke down with the 3-wave. So now price is still retesting this same level. So my bias is still bearish, but at the same time, price could give us a deeper pullback. All right. Because I was catching sales. We were catching sales here on this initial retest. Catching sales on that initial retest. But price pulled back to this level. So with this, I would say either wait for a breakdown. All right. If price starts to break down this flag or this show strong rejection and rolling over, then we can look to just continue to sell this down. All right. But a price here actually breaks above here, pulls up higher, then this could be setting up for a deeper correction. All right. It could be setting up for a deeper correction before it continues to move to the downside. Okay. So I think going into Monday, we'll be able to see what it wants to do. If the price pull up higher, it could be just pulling up higher and then give us the bigger move down. All USD. So all USD is interesting. Same thing with all USD. Been calling sales on this for the past few weeks, and everything played out to a T. It came into the exact level that I was anticipating. So same thing. It came up to this level of supply, started selling off. So if you go down to the daily chart, all right, price came down. Now we have a head and shoulders here. Head, left shoulder, right shoulder. Price came down to the neckline of the support of the head and shoulders, right? Initially, it formed like a morning star, all right? But then price actually pulled it back down, retesting that. Now, looking at this candlestick on the daily, we got a pin bar right here. We got a bullish pin bar. Bullish pin bar, bullish hammer, right? Bullish kangaroo tail, whatever you want to call it. It's a nice bullish rejection on a daily with a strong wick. That's an indication of potential move up, all right? Overall, my bias is still to the downside. We could look at the monthly, all right? If we look at the monthly, price have a strong bearish type shooting star candle on a monthly, all right? But that doesn't mean you're not going to see a retest of that before continuation down, all right? So looking at the daily, it's looking like we might get that retest. And if we go down to the 4 hour, we also have a potential inverted head and shoulders right here, all right? So with the dollar, my bias in the dollar early, looking like a correction to the downside, I believe if that happens, I believe we will see AU correct to the upside with it to 0.77. All right, at least around to this structure level. Now around there, I would say we would either get, a break or bounce, like maybe we reject from there and continue the bigger move to the downside, or maybe have a deeper correction up to these levels and then reject. So it's just a matter of what price wants to do around that structure point. All right. I believe the dollar will be the driving force on what AU does this week. But overall, we need to see a firm break. Okay. Because price spiked below this level. But I said we needed to see a real break, right? A real break with bearish closure below here. Then on the retest, if we get it, we can catch that continuation. All JPY. So all JPY has been interesting. It's been a bit stubborn, you know what I mean? Everything that's going on with JPY has been weak. So I feel like that's the driving force of why AU has been struggling up here. All right, but if we look, price has still been in the uptrend overall, or at least, the past few months. Because overall, if you really look at it, long term, this is your high, lower low structure, lower high structure, lower low structure. So really, it could be just pulling back to form a lower high here somewhere for continuing. All right. So if we look at the weekly is interesting because, we have rejection here after a pullback. We have rejection. And if we go to the daily, we are in a supply zone, though. We had an interesting level of structure, and this is looking like a head and shoulders as well. All right, looking like a head and shoulders forming. So long term, I still like sales. All right, I still like sales long term. We're calling sales here. Price rejected down, but then it had a deeper pullback, mainly because of JPY, I believe. So the weakness of JPY. But price came right back up here on the 4 hour, printed a nice rejection. So this could potentially be a double top to continue to roll over. All right. So if price holds this high, we can see price continue to roll over. If not, and it breaks above, we can see price have a deeper pullback, to the upside before continuing down. Gold is interesting. I was able to catch some of this buy on our New York session, but you see gold came down to form this double bottom, right? This double bottom at this daily, level of demand. Formed a double bottom. Now we're getting bullish pressure up going along with the bearish correction of the dollar. I got this daily trend line. Price is breaking that a bit. So it's interesting to see how high gold wants to go. All right. Because right now, if dollar continues bearish on this corrective move, we see gold just continue up back to these levels of resistance at least. All right. Now up there, it's going to be a real breaker bounce scenario. Once price reaches these resistance levels, it's either going to reject or you'll see a break above, maybe some type of pullback and continuation. So we have to wait and see, how gold and the dollar reacts at these levels. Euro odd. So with Euro odd, we're still in this major demand level. Price formed this double bottom here. We were able to catch about 140 pips on this move in the private Discord channel. On the retest here, we was able to catch that move up here. We were able to catch this move up. All right. But after that, price gave a nice pullback down. All right. So this was the impulse up. We caught that move and now it's pulling back. So it's interesting to see. I believe overall is just pulling back to still continue. I believe the long-term move is still to the upside. All right, let's see how the monthly close. All right, so the monthly just closed regular. I mean, it closed wicking that level a bit, this demand level. All right, so overall, long-term, I mean, price could come back and retest these lows, but long-term, I still like bigger moves up. All right. CHF JPY. Looking at CHF JPY, we're still in these levels of supply. Now, price is showing signs of possibly pulling back up towards the higher supply level. All right, but overall, I believe we're setting up for the bigger move to the downside. This weekly candle is going to close a bit bullish engulfing. So you got to be careful at this level because JPY is still very strong. I mean, weak. So it's looking like, CHF, JPY is just pulling up more. Like it's not ready to go yet or continue. But I would take a trend line from here, from this high to this lower high and extend it out. And it's actually sorry about that. It's actually breaking up a bit. All right. So it's breaking up a bit now. Close a week pumping. So we could, if price holds here, we could possibly see a pull up again before giving us another move down. So, but overall, I still like sales. So I would say, we would need to trade this breakdown. If we start to get this breakdown, start to get a breakdown here rolling over, we could look to sell that. USD CAD. So USD CAD is interesting. Interesting. So on the monthly, we are around the demand level. All right. We are around the demand level. But looking at the weekly or the daily, it looks like, price is in the downtrend on the daily. You see here we got lower high, lower low, lower high structure, and then lower low. So it looks like this could be a potential a lower high for maybe one more move down. Price did pull up here. Price pulled up here and formed this bearish engulfing here. All right. Bearish engulfing broke down, then gave us the shooting star right here on the daily. So looking at structure on the lower time frame, like a 4 hour. All right, we had an impulsive break, this trend line. We had a retest of that, forming a lower high, breaking down, forming a lower low. All right, so I still like sales to start the week. Like I believe this is just pulling back. Really, we could hold here and just continue down, at least to like around 1.25, possibly lower. But I still like for sales this week. All right, so let's say price comes up maybe on a 4 hour and had a nice bearish close below here again. You know, a nice bearish rejection. We could look to sell that down. GBP odd. I went over GBP odd. I was saying I believe this was just setting up for a continuation up around 1.825 resistance. That target was hit. If you look at the daily, we got a nice pin bar rejection on the daily. Seeing that could be a sign of rejection, continuation down. Weekly, monthly. It's interesting. We could potentially get a day trade. Me personally, I would like to see a pullback, like a pullback retest, maybe for a double top and reject, and then maybe look for a sell. But looking at this, because this was an impulsive move, and looking at this, this could be just setting up to continue. This right here could be setting up for the continuation. So even if I take this trend line, price broke out of that with the impulse. Now it's kind of retesting that. So this could be setting up on a retest to just continue to start the week. That's a possibility. All right. Or price could fake out and go up and then give us a move down. Sundays tend to be, you know, trap moves, fake outs. So I want to see how this happens, but it's still possible for this to just continue. Now, if that continues and just, you know, continue to break structure down, maybe on a break of structure, if I get a nice retest opportunity, that could be opportunity to take this back down towards 1.80 support. Euro NZD. Euro NZD is interesting. If we look at the waves of the market, all right, price had an impulse from this demand level. All right, I covered this last week where you see here on the weekly, price gave us this big pin bar here on the weekly. See how the monthly closed. All right. So I really believe that this is just setting up. You know, we had a strong move up impulse. I believe this is just correcting to continue up. All right. I believe this is a bearish correction to just give us that continued move up. So this is how you can play this. So I would say, good look for this move up. All right. This is the move I'm expecting to the upside on Euro NZD. NZD CAD, if we look at NZD CAD on a monthly, overall, we're going to get more drop because look how price came to this supply level. We had strong sales before. Price gave us a strong bearish engulfing on a monthly there. All right. Strong bearish engulfing, but that's the monthly. So chances are we could pull back some of that before continuing that move. So if I look at the weekly, we are sitting with the third hit of this trend line. This is a level of structure right here. So maybe price can potentially correct to that before continuing. Because if I look at the daily or the daily, we got a double bottom right here. Or if we look at the 4 hour, we can see it more clear. Potential double bottom. So I would say maybe we get a pullback, the price holds support. You can look to continue it up, or you can wait to see if price wants to break structure on this double bottom. If it breaks this, that's the neckline. I would say on a retest, you could get a possible entry for continuation up, right, to this structure resistance. Okay, but this will be just a corrective move. Long term, we're still to the downside on NZD CAD. All CAD. So all CAD I covered, I believe, on the last weekly outlook, and I was saying I believe this is just setting up for the continued move down. Because overall, All cash, same thing. Been calling these sales ever since here, really, on this retest. Been calling, expecting continued drop. Drop, lower high, lower low, lower high on the pullback, lower low, pullback, bearish flag, lower high, continuation. All right, so it's been nice, clear market structure here for the most part. All right, so if you look at this on the monthly, strong bearish candle, strong bearish close here on the monthly engulfing. So that's showing us signs that long term, all right, in that supply zone, we still gonna get more sell. All right. So looking at the daily, we do got a pin bar on this pullback. It created a lower low. So it looks like we could correct, which we started to actually to end the week. But I believe you could look for something similar type of move like this. You could look for price to correct. And that's what it's doing now. All right. So I would say just let it correct. Just let it correct, similar to what it did. Maybe possibly get a retest. And on a breakdown, if we get a breakdown, you could look to just continue that down. All right. Now, if price was to come up and actually break structure lower high, then that's a sign that we're probably going to get a deeper pullback. All right. So those are the pairs that I'm covering on this watch list. Let's see how things develop. All right. And happy trading. Trade safe. If you're in the paid or in the private Discord, I will update you all throughout the week. If we see any signal opportunities, they will be given out. All right. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening.